And action. I'm just kidding. About the action part, that is. Uh, we're not going to make a short or a short film or anything like that. But it is true. I did fall off of a roof back in 1996. Well, let's go inside and I'll tell you a little bit about what happened, and I'll tell you a little bit about me. And in the comments, you can tell me a little bit about y'all. Let's go. Hey, bye. Hello, everybody. Barn loves to get in on the camera action, as well as some of the other guys. What's Gidget doing? Watch, she gets excited. Ooh! Oh, and action! She's a natural born killer. She's a watchdog. Okay, let's go this way. No, we're not doing that right now. Okay, he's getting into it. I got that from you know who. All right, let's go over here. Hi, Gus. Hi, Ollie. Yeah, they're lounging. Of course, Gidget, she's the little princess. She's lounging too. I want to play. I know you want to play. We'll play later. I gotta talk to everybody. I gotta tell them a little bit about me and the rest of us. Okay? Okay. Okay. Well, I can't get everything, of course, on one video because that would take a very long time. Anyhow, let me set this over here. I love, as you guys know, I love making videos that, you know, are just simple and straight to the point. The only editing that you're going to see in a video like I'm doing right now is like I do for my How to Care for Venus Flytrap videos. I like to just pause and then set up as quick and as best as I can to the, you know, the next frame where I'm going and what I'm talking about. Everybody seems to like it, and I enjoy doing it. And I am an independent filmmaker looking to break into the business big time. But first I have, allergy again. But first I have to work on my, what do they call that? I have to work on my, you know, myself, you know, me. Some people, you know, which I've been learning a lot lately, some people think that you have to have all this, you know, fancy equipment and, you know, all kinds of, you know, crew members and whatnot to get started. Now, oh, I apologize. I forgot to take my allergy medicine. I'll take it later after this video. Anyhow, first of all, let's get back real quick. I'm sorry if I jump around. I apologize. I appreciate you all that made it this far. I hope you continue to the end because I have a lot of cool stuff to share with you. Back to the beginning there, when I did fall from a roof, that was back in 1996. Been a private contractor for decades now. I first started my own private contracting business back in 1994. And in 96, I was working on a old, very, very old, very beautiful Victorian style home that had a castle-like tower with the turret and the little cupola up on top. Beautiful. And there was all kinds of work being done on the place, from inside to outside. A good friend of mine, Brian, he was on the inside, and he's a big drywall, you know, and finisher, and, you know, painter, etc. And I, of course, was outside with my guys, and I never was your typical, boss. I dug right in there. I mean, some bosses do and some bosses don't. Some bosses, when they get, to a certain level, they're like, yeah, I'll just make sure that we get everything we need and I'm going to skate. But I didn't. I stuck with it. And, several years after I fell from the roof. But I lived to tell about it. Some people don't. And I was very, very fortunate. And I guess I was just, I was meant to do and accomplish a lot more things before I left for the afterlife. So, yes, it was I was clear up at the top by the, on the tower part. And so it was a 30-foot drop. And the scaffolding set up, around, front was for other various things that was being done. And long story short, well, that's kind of impossible for me because I know I'm long-winded. Anyhow, my family and friends, they all tell me that. And of course, I love talking. I love talking to people. I love talking to you guys, if you listen. Because believe me, I have decades of knowledge to share with you. So this is really like my first time going all out with a video like this, of this, serious magnitude. But if it does good, I'll make lots more, and I'll tell you more and more about me. And like I said earlier, you can comment, and tell me more about you guys. Tell me about yourselves. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you enjoy watching me do, or what, And I will respond to you as quick as possible. I am very busy, but I know that being on social media, I've seen lots of things, making comments and stuff over the years myself. I see different people, sometimes I'm sure they get overwhelmed and they got to hire people, to help them, respond. Because, let's face it, people have over billions, of views, and, I'm sure billions of comments. Loads of comments. Hi, Barn. But at least while I'm small, while I still can handle it myself and I don't have to hire, moderators or whatever they are, I'm going to respond to you as soon as I can. And if I'm, at work, and busy, when I get home, I will, I always check, all my, comments and stuff. And of course, if somebody leaves something that's, that's really like derogatory, depending on the video I'm making, sometimes, YouTube doesn't like certain things, that are done or whatever. But I don't know. As long as it's not, if it's downright, hurtful to someone, in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to delete you because, number one, I want all of you to feel comfortable when you come here to my channel. And I won't put up with any kind of bullying in the comment section. So be nice to everyone, because I don't have to put up with it, and I won't put up with it. And I believe YouTube has rules and regulations against that kind of stuff. Anyhow, there I go. Straying off again. Anyhow, so I fell in 96, in a 30-foot drop, and I landed. Well, I made a couple, terrible little things on the way down. And it felt like I was falling in slow motion. But here I am, clear up on the tower, and, oh, excuse me, clear up on the tower. Hey, you want this? Come here and say hi real quick. Come here. Come here. Come. Oh, you're too short? Here, come here. Hello, I want to play. Oh, he wants to play. Okay. Anyhow, like I said earlier, my friend Brian was inside working, and the scaffolding that I was clear up on the top, working to reach the, I was installing these, they call them shingles. They're not your typical shingle. They were called a shangle, very thick, very beautiful, dimensional, architectural style shingles, aka shangle. Um, I was, up there and I was, minding my business, working my business. And all of a sudden, I was like, whoa! Yeah. The scaffolding gave out because when the scaffolding was put up, around the front porch, and all tied in, the main point that was tied in actually was, with my weight and the scaffolding and all that, there was a lot of rotted wood that was not seen, and you should be able to find that. At least I think. I mean, I double and triple check stuff, when I do stuff like that. I mean, as of late, I will get into that later. But anyhow, I always double and triple check stuff because the last thing you want to do is fall. I mean, because you might not live to tell about it. I was just very blessed, very fortunate, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here and be able to share my life stories and adventures with you. So anyhow, I'm falling. Like I said, it feels in slow motion. When they say your life flashes in front of you, that's no joke. Man. Anyhow, as I'm falling, there's a ladder over here. There was a little ladder up there for one section here, and there was one over here, for reaching different things. And I'm up on the tippy top on this ladder, working on the tower, turret. And when everything gave out, these ladders and everything, they gave out with the scaffolding. Well, I got hit on my clavicle bone, sliced me up, and when I landed, I just, it didn't feel good. I just, boom, barely like wham, hit like just, the edge of my arm, and I landed right on the sidewalk. But on the sidewalk, there was a roof jack. Wow, it hurt. It was an adjustable style roof jack, and I landed and wham like that, and it went right in. It's kind of hard probably to see this scar on camera, but it went right into my palm and edge of my wrist, and it was gushing. I mean, profusely. Out of the house rushed my buddy Brian. His name's Brian Shipton. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" He said, a few other things though, but I, try to keep it PG for everybody that's watching. He said, "Wow," he said, "I thought like a big bird or something got, hit and was falling." He said, "All I seen was this big," and he said, I couldn't believe it's you." Yeah, I'll be all right. I said, "I'm just gonna, I'll go ahead and clean it up and wrap it up and stuff, and then I get back to work." He's like, no. He says, you're gonna need stitches. No, I'll be all right. So I rush into the house, go through all, the stuff where, Brian and his guys are working on stuff. And I make my way, down the stairwell into the basement, because I knew there was a nice cleanup space for all, all the paint and stuff like that at the end of the day, and go down there and clean your, equipment and stuff. So I get down there and I, turn the, the water on, in the big, it's a, big old, one of those big old wash basins, the dual side one. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, that stings. Oh, and, I'm watching the water, hit it. And, and as I flexed my hand open like that, the wound just gaped. I mean, it was literally like, oh, it was deep. I can't remember exactly how deep, but I guarantee you that it was at least a ½ inch deep. I mean, so a ½ inch deep, I mean, that's pretty deep. Anyway, I seen all the white, cartilage or whatever the tissues are in there, And then I took it off from the water, and it's like boom. It would, I tried wrapping it up, and Brian's like, no, you're going now. So I started feeling, I'm wrapping up, and I started, I'm like starting to feel like, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, whew, I'm feeling lightheaded. I'm a little dizzy. And he grabbed a hold of my arm, and he said, come on, let's go. And he pulled me, and he made me get up the basement stairs, and he got me in his vehicle. And thank goodness the hospital literally, Williamsport Hospital was literally 2 streets. I believe it was 2 streets over. And, made it in there. Boom. They seen how bad it was. I couldn't believe it. They took me immediately. There was, they're like, we'll get your information in the back. I remember Brian saying, that's a good idea because he's losing blood fast. So, I'm still holding the pressure on it. Boom, get back there, and blah, blah, blah. So the whole thing, they give you the shot, which, the big needle, the shot to, numb stuff. And they had to work around and give me a couple of them. Like, wow, this hurts worse than the fall. But anyhow, I lived to tell about it. And believe it or not, the next day, I was back up on the roof, with the stitches and all wrapped. Of course, because I'm right-handed. Well, on here, Anyhow, I'm right-handed, and it was my left hand, which was, that was a good thing because I was still able to do a lot of things. And of course, with this like this, I had no problems, setting the shingles, and with this hand here, doing the nail gun and everything and anything else that I need. But I took care of it, and a few days went by, and it's I'm a fast healer, but a few days went by, and it wasn't painful anymore. Kind of like it was added to the war wounds because I have a lot of them. But anyhow, well, let's change the scenery. I'm going to pause this a second, and well, here we go. Well, this is not where we're going, but I want to show you something real quick here. You guys that watch my shorts, of course, that's my biggest thing is the shorts so far. I'm trying to, get it up to people watch my long form content more. So please don't forget to smash the like button, share with all your friends and family, subscribe, and don't forget to leave that comment. Anyhow, back to the shorts real quick before we go on to where I'm going to sit down and tell you a little bit more about my life. As you guys know, in my videos, which I do a lot of comedy. That's my main thing. It's comedy, travel, and just making people feel great. Make them feel good about themselves. Make them enjoy what they're watching. But I do a lot of martial arts stuff sometimes in the shorts video, especially with Frankie LaPena and whatnot. But yes, I am big time into martial arts. I've been doing martial arts since I was a little boy. And believe it or not, I'm 55 years old. I'm going to be 56 this fall, in October. Anyhow, the martial arts I do at green screen, sometimes you can't see, the clarity because, let's face it, those are, they're fast kicks. It's not like you're doing something slow and going, ooh, whoa, like that. But, it's real. Ooh, it's fast. The jump spinning back kicks, Wow! Okay, enough of that. But those are real, and I enjoy doing them. Anyhow, on to the next spot. I'll sit down and do some more talking. Oops, we're almost there. Taking a pit stop. I had a fly mess with me. So while he is alive, Let's visit Seymour. Ooh. Oh, sorry, buddy. I don't like things getting harmed, but the thing about flies, especially that kind, he had all those little green and blue and all the, I forget what they're called, but they carry disease and stuff. So as as I have them, and he was all up in my face, so while I was walking to where I was, taking you guys next, he just kept buzzing in my face, and then he landed on my arm, so I was like, boom, I stunned him, and then I was like, hey, you know what, and grabbed him with the tweezers. I might as well incorporate a little bit of that. Don't forget to watch my, long form videos, like I said earlier, of how to care for Venus flytraps. I've been doing this for, a little over a year and a half now, and I've had great luck. I've taken, what is it, like 3 Venus flytraps. I've taken 3 Venus flytraps and turned them into 15 of them. Okay, anyhow, here we go. On to the next one. Hello. Good morning. How you doing? I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. And when I was only a year and a half old, my folks moved to Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Hi, Rosebud. What's the matter? Oh, it's just a camera. You can see yourself on there, can't you? Hi. Did you hear us right there? These are my good friend's horses. This is Rosebud. She's, I believe, what they call a Palomino. Beautiful horse. And I forget how old she is. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. I can't remember, though. She's over 20 years old. Anyhow, my folks moved to Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And I played a lot, as a child. We didn't have all the awesome stuff that there is today for all the young folks. Hi there. There's so much. You guys are so blessed with the technology of today. Bye, Rosebud. Hello. How you doing? Yes, you're so blessed with today's technology. And I enjoy it when I see young people getting out and doing things because, let's face it, everything can't revolve around technological stuff. I mean, you have to enjoy the real world. And believe me, I'm just as guilty as the next person of going on social media and being on there for sometimes a half hour, sometimes an hour, sometimes hours. But if you get out and enjoy, I mean, I'm not saying to get away from all the technology and stuff, enjoy your video games, because believe me, they've come a long ways. I mean, I remember, what was it, Telstar or whatever, the beep, beep, beep. And then when Space Invaders, and Pac-Man, Asteroids, and all those hit the scene, I was addicted. But I still came outside to enjoy, nature. I've always been a big, nature lover. I love animals. And I used to have my own horse when I was younger. I haven't had a horse, for some time. But my friends, they have you know, the horses there, and they didn't show you all of them. And I think they have a couple out, maybe doing a they do horse shows and whatnot. But you know, who knows? Maybe I'll have another horse. Oh, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but yeah, whinnying. Anyhow, back to the nature. I mean, there's a beautiful stream here, you know, and nature has so much to offer. And enjoy the video games, enjoy the technology. Whether you're doing, you know, virtual reality on those, what, the Oculus or whatever or whatnot. I don't even know what, they probably have something nowadays that's more popular. I don't know. Myself, I've tried the Oculus. A good dear friend that passed away here a few years ago. He was older than me. I can't remember how much older than me he was, but he really enjoyed the Oculus, and he introduced it to me. It was, you know, it was so awesome. I remember the last time I had seen something that was supposed to be like virtual reality was this big like yellow bubble that you step inside, and it was in a movie theater. You know, before you go back to see your movie or get whatever, they had the, you know, the game room section. And I remember playing it, you know, and you know, you're standing and you're turning around and you're, you know, you're firing at the enemy and all that, blah blah blah. And it was cool, but the Oculus, when I put that those goggles on and slid that down, wow. And it's come a long way since then, even. But to have those on then, I felt like, wow, stepping onto another planet in another world. Speaking of another world, it started raining, so I figured I'd come in before a droplet hit the camera. And like I said, I don't do all that fancy editing for these style of videos. Hey, Barncho. So I wanted to come in before it started downpouring like it was earlier today. Who knows, maybe we'll have a rainbow like we did yesterday. I'll have to put that in a short. I actually got a little bit of footage from the rainbow that came out yesterday. You know, the sun was shining, you know, beautiful. It's pouring down rain, and then when the rain slowed up, this rainbow appeared. And it's nice too, because I can't remember if it showed while I was out there, but the big beautiful giant willow tree out back, it it was right above that. It's a gorgeous shot, and I'm so glad I think I got like 3 or 4 brief shorts, and I tried to do a little funny thing there. When I do release them, you'll see it. I was imitating a leprechaun and talking about the gold and Lucky Charm cereal and stuff. Anyhow, back to where it was. Felt like, you know, stepping into another world with that game. But like I was saying earlier there, I got up the beaten path again. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me. Hello, Bonchu. Hello. Say hello. Hello. I do lots of videos, and I do voices for all of our dogs, and they just love the camera. Don't you, Bonchu? I'm tired. See, I'm tired. You tired, huh? Actually, it's like, you know, sometimes I feel like I can read their thoughts. Sometimes their thoughts are pretty elaborate. Sometimes they're just, you know, brief, simple, like, I'm hungry, feed me. Anyhow, the video game stuff and stepping into another world, when that stuff came along, when I was, like I was saying, when I was a young kid, I had my first horse before all that stuff got, you know, mega popular. And, you know, her name was Princess. She was a painted horse. And she had a perfect star. I'm going to have to get some pictures out. I have some pictures of her back in the day. But she was my, you know, She was my first horse. And I loved horseback riding, and I still love it to this day. Um, then I got a dirt bike. My. It was a YZ125. Oh, it was more than enough power. Wow. The power band, as they said back, the power band kicked in, and you could pop a wheelie in every gear. I kid you not. It was, it was absolutely amazing. It was so much fun. Before all that, even before I had Princess, before I got my horse, my stepdad, Glenn, he, I helped him, of course. I mean, he did most of the work, but, I was young, but, he built me a go-kart, and it had, roll bar on it and everything. And he put a Briggs & Stratton 7 horsepower engine on it. And that thing flew. I mean, for me, it was fast. It flew. I can't remember how fast it really, went. It's not like I had a speedometer on it, but it was, I mean, when I tell you it flew, it flew. So go-kart, horse, dirt bike, and then back to the video games. I was addicted to video games. I had the Atari. Was it Atari 2600? I think it is. The old video game that people my age had, and I had a lot of believe me, I got a lot of them. I guess I was kind of spoiled. In certain ways, I wasn't really spoiled, and in other ways, I was spoiled because my grandparents they spoiled me. I had to have had, oh, I don't know, lots. I bet you I had at least 50, 60% of the Atari games that were available. And I also was blessed with a lot of free ones because some good friends of mine I went to school with, they had the Atari 2600, and they got, I think it was ColecoVision, and they didn't want the Atari anymore. Well, I was still happy with it because my folks wasn't buying me a brand new ColecoVision back then. So, they gifted me a boatload of these games. And there was like, I really loved Yar's Revenge. For some reason, it was just so fun. I mean, I loved so many games, but Yar's Revenge was neat. I don't know. I could play it for hours. But there was one game that I could never figure out. I don't think anybody's ever been able to figure it out. If anybody's ever, beat this game, won it, playing the game and won it, if you can even win, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And it's called E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That was one of the freebies that I got from my friends Nick and Jeff. And I just, I could make him, fall down in that pit. And then his head would be like, whoop, whoop. He'd make all that little weird noise. But I couldn't figure it out. So it was back to other stuff like Space Invaders and Asteroids, and all that stuff. But I was so addicted to the video games, I would pump quarter after quarter after, I should say, dollars after dollars. I don't know how much I spent back in the day as a kid, but I spent a lot of money on video games. Especially, I'd go to like Pizza Joe's, and I remember when a slice of pizza was like a quarter. A quarter for a slice of pizza at Pizza Joe's. Pizza Joe's started, in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and he branched out. He's got lots of them. I mean, I don't know where all, but I know they're over in Ohio too. But they also sell donuts at the one in Newcastle on State Street. I don't think the other ones, do them, but that's where Joe himself, used to be in there. And I don't know, I haven't been in there for years because I go to the one, nearby us, but so I don't know. I don't even know I don't know what his age is, but he was always a nice guy. And his dad was my bus driver when I was a little boy, when I first started school. And my sister, it was her last year of school, and I was starting school. And he was a good old guy. I really liked him, man. But he also, besides driving the bus, he was he repaired shoes. And there was, next to the Pizza Joe's, when Joe first, when the bus driver Joe, who was the shoe repair guy, when his son is the one that started Pizza Joe's, and Pizza Joe's was right there, and I remember his dad having the shoe repair place there, and then came Pizza Joe's, and I'd go in there. I'd play video games, and I remember saying, "Hey, your slices are ready," because I'd get a couple slices. "Your slices are ready, Vinny." And he'd always call me Vinny. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get them." He's like, "They're gonna get cold." I'd be over there, playing whatever he had, and one he had Asteroids was one of my favorite ones that he had in there that I played, and then he got Tempest. Tempest was very, that was a game that was, well, we'll save that for a different time. But eventually he bought the Dairy Queen. There was a Dairy Queen that was built across the street during the Pizza Joe, rise. And eventually he ended up buying the Dairy Queen building, and that's still Pizza Joe's to this day. And here just recently, I think that was earlier this, well, I don't even want to say when because I'm not sure, but it's very, very new. There on State Street in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. There's a new Dairy Queen that finally came in because, to go to Dairy Queen, you'd have to go, it's a real small in the Shannock, and you have to wait out, wait outside, and they have tables and stuff. I mean, not wait outside, you are outside. But the new one, there in Union Township, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, you can go in and sit down and, and get food or ice cream or whatever. And there's one out in Shenango, and there's one, to go to the one in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. Which also is, well, I'll get into that later. I'm getting off the beaten path. There's so much to tell you. My mind just, my mind is always moving, 1,000 miles an hour. It's like, everybody says, "I think you have adult ADD." Well, they didn't have that when I was a kid. Well, if they had it, I should say they probably had, I'm sure they had it, but, they weren't doing, it didn't exist yet. Nobody had been diagnosed. ADD and ADHD wasn't thought of. But I have seen all the telltale, things to look for, and I guess I'm a prime candidate for ADD, ADHD. I mean, I can get, even at my age, I can get hyper excited about something, and I will lose focus. I got to focus. I got to make notes because I will, I'll go far off course. But, like I am now. Anyhow, so enough of the Dairy Queens, Pizza Joe things. Anyhow, the video game addiction, it was bad as a young kid, and then as a young teenager, I mean, more and more games were coming out, this and that, and finally there I had to, I don't even remember exactly how I did it, but I remember telling myself, "Wow, I'm spending too much money on these video, games, at the arcades or at Pizza Joe's or wherever." And I got the games at home too. So just play them at home, and and I finally broke away from that. Every once in a while, I might play a game somewhere for fun. My youngest son, Anthony, I used to play games with him and stuff. He always had some of the latest stuff that y'all really like. But once I got out of the addiction to video games, I I was able to focus on other things. And I always loved to draw. I was always good at drawing. And if you watch any of my, you know, videos, you'll see every once in a while, you'll see I'm drawing something. If you check out my Vincent Mirabella II film productions channel, I have a lot of art on there too. Not only do I do pencil drawings, I do acrylic and oil paintings. I shared a Luke and Leia oil painting that I did, some years back now, and I would take my paintings to my shows when I did like the Monroeville, convention center, for Comic Con or whatever con there was, and of course, I had my first book. It's a time travel science fiction fantasy, The Transmetronome Device, and I am right now in the process with my publisher of getting my second book done, and we'll get into that later. Anyhow, yes, I am a sci-fi time travel author, an independent filmmaker, and I'm a jack of many trades, and some of the things that I do I'm very good at. Some things I'm still learning, and there's some things that I still want to learn how to do. But anyhow, as I approached my adult life, when I was still a teenager, there was all kinds of things going on. I mean, I started, besides all the drawing and stuff, I started writing, and I loved to write, little short stories, make up my own little adventures. I remember, and this is wild too, especially from the stuff that has happened, since then. I remember writing, and I still have my original short story. I think it's like 38 pages. I still have the original, the little binder notebook, whatever you call it, the ring shank type of notebook. I still have the original writing of like 38 pages of, I didn't call it the Transmetronome Device back then. But I still have that, and that's what became the Transmetronome Device. And now I'm getting ready to change it again because my second book, I'm going to do a title change, and I'll get into all that later. It's really evolved, and Arthur Nomalos is the inventor, the writer, the time traveler, and of course, I am playing the lead role, Arthur Nomalos, who eventually becomes Professor Arthur Nomalos. And having that early notebook is just so awesome now, because besides that, other stuff that I was doing when I was younger, I was writing little short stories, and I was finding myself basically, and all the sci-fi shows and fantasy shows and stuff. I mean, I remember watching, after all the little kiddie stuff, and I started getting a little older, and Lost in Space, Star Trek. Everybody was, imitating Captain Kirk, and then Happy Days, everybody was imitating the Fonz. Everybody wanted a black leather jacket, everybody imitating, like I said, Captain Kirk, Captain's log, Stardate 23.9, rounded off to the nearest decimal point. We all know that that's old Jim, Mr. Jim Carrey. He is hilarious. Ace Ventura, Liar, Liar. Oh my God, his movies, they were always hilarious. I loved watching them. And that's where, of course, where I got the... Now I play with Barnachu. Oh, he's over here napping. Look at this. Hello? Hey, Barnabas. Shalafola. I'm tired. Come back. Anyhow, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but one day he did something, and I looked at him. I was trying to get him to cooperate when we was playing fetch, and I was like, Barnabas. His name is Barnabas Chewbacca. We call him Barnachew. He's named after his beloved deceased stepbrother, Chewie, who was Chewbacca, of course, and we called him Chewie. Oh! And I'll get into that too. That's a whole big thing. There was some unbelievable stuff there. Chewie was an amazing yellow lab. But aren't they all? I love yellow labs. I love all dogs and stuff, but I'm kind of partial to yellow labs. Don't tell nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I love them all equally. I do. God, where was I? I got into the shubbla-fubbla thing. So he wasn't cooperating with the fetch. So I looked right at him and I was like, shubbla-fubbla. And he was like, and he picked up that toy and he was like, like you seen earlier in this video. He shook that thing and I was like, whoa. And this is his second tire. There's like 3 tires in one. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So now, every time he wants to play fetch with something, he'll bring different things, He's like, got this little Geo Metro ball, or whatever you call it. Bounces. Boy, you got to be careful in the house, because when it bounces, And you might, you might knock something, We don't want to do that, But now, it's like a couple of his toys, he knows like Rumble Bumble. I'll get into that later. If I say Rumble Bumble, he'll go get that it's a black rubbery Geo Metro style ball. If I say go get the Rumble stick, he gets this this orange stick. It's about that long, about that big around, and it's real flexible. Boom. It's fun. It's easy to get off of him. It's probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest, to get off of him. Because you don't want to let it go. Now if I ignore him and if I just pretend I'm doing something else, he'll sit it down. But he's a sneaky little. You go to reach for it, boom, he'll grab it real quick, or he'll put his paw on it. And then it's like a little wrestling match, because he wants to play tug then. That's his way of saying he wants to play tug of war. But, when he's not taking a nap, I'll be like, go get the shubbla-fubbla. And he knows exactly what toy to get. He dogs are smart. Of course, anybody that has dogs knows this. But it's just funny how, I started doing that. And tell my kids that. I'm like, they're all grown up and stuff, but tell them, yeah, you never guess, I remember the first time, kids are like, what are you, that's from Liar Liar, Dad. What are you doing? Shubbla-fubbla. Exactly. Nobody can do it like him, of course, but all of that broke it down to shubbla-fubbla. So I say, go get the shubbla-fubbla. And he will bring that little 3 tires that are, all interlocked, looped together. And he's ready. Boom. And, you play with him, throw it a couple of times, and then he starts, I've got him. It looks like he's dancing. I mean, he's really getting, and he will. He'll do that, and he'll circle, and then he'll circle the other way. It's crazy. And he looks around and sees where everything is. He's got everything mapped out, because he doesn't want to hit anything. He knows that things, he's learned that the hard way. He learns that things get knocked down and they'll break if one of the toys hits him. So anyhow, I always enjoyed the writing, coming up with stuff. So back to where I was. Put the brakes on. Back here. So I would write little short stories, because I really enjoyed, TV shows and stuff like I was saying, like Lost in Space, Star Trek went on, and Star Wars came along. And I'd write my own little Star Wars adventures, And I was like, wow, it'd be cool to be, an author someday, maybe I get a book published. And I remember reading this thing in the bay, but it was, it's funny because, I'm young and I'm, naive and not, just not knowledgeable about certain things, I remember I wrote this short story. It was pretty elaborate, and it was my own Star Wars story. And now, nowadays, that's no big deal. People do them. They send them in, and what is it, Del Rey, however you pronounce it. And all kinds of publishers like that, are still to this day publishing Star Wars stories. You send the stuff in, and get the script approved or whatever, and beautiful artwork done for the covers and whatnot. But I was young, and I wanted to do that before it was ever thought of being done. And I guess I could have stuck to it, but I found my own, what do they call it, niche, however you want to say it. I found my own, my own thing. And you can tell when you read my book, when you read the first book, you can tell that I was inspired by a great many science fiction, fantasy things and time travel shows and whatnot. But it's my own creation, and it's not, it's not a knockoff of any Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. It's its own. It stands alone. And I knew how important it was to create your own, thing. And so I did. And I've just noticed that this video is like 50-some minutes long. I hope YouTube will upload it. I better continue this later. Tell me in the comments, did you enjoy this? And I will continue my life story, because I became a young father, early. At 19 years old, I became a father. I've lived in California and Florida and Williamsport for like 20 years. And I come full circle back to the little small city of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, only 15 minutes from Youngstown, Ohio, where I was born, at St. Elizabeth. St. E's, they call it. Now they don't even deliver babies there anymore. So anyhow, I will continue this. Let me know what you think of it. I have a lot of awesome stories to tell you. Believe me, some of my experiences in my life, well, that's why I like to write, because some of my real life, adventures are pretty cool. Like falling off the roof. Well, that wasn't cool, but it's not everybody that falls off a roof and lives to tell about it and becomes an author and an aspiring filmmaker and now a YouTuber. And this is my second YouTube channel. My first one wasn't monetized, but they monetized this one. I'm waiting for the final stuff, for payment. I've met the threshold. I'm already over $100. And I haven't even been monetized a month yet. So, but the payment period, so I'm going to have to wait till the end of September to get paid if I did all my calculations correctly. But that's not why I do this. I mean, I do this because this is my passion. And I want to share my life with you guys. And I just want to be the best book writer, and eventually, full-fledged filmmaker. And I'm making a miniseries too, based on the book series. But I just want to be the best at whatever I do. And believe me, I haven't always been the best at everything I do. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. But you'll learn more about me, Vincent Mirabella II. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave that comment. And until the next time, remember, I love you all. And I couldn't do this without you guys. Make this go viral. Share and share and share some more. Peace!